Day Trading Radio presents a Briguy trading production.
Good evening, traders. This is Briguy here at daytradingradio.com. I'd like to welcome all those that are coming here and visiting us today. I know we had a special show last night as well, and we had a couple of viewers coming in from Washington. And I don't know if you guys were able to be on there, but that was a nice little show that Johnny put on at 10 o'clock last night. So what we're going to be doing today is going into a discussion about solo monitor trading. But before that, we have a special guest, and I'm going to work out getting him on here in just a minute. Give me 1 second and we'll take care of this. If that guest wants to call in, we can go over those details. In the meantime, I'll just put the ES chart up. We see it came down and bottomed out at 1431.25. I think we had a couple of levels earlier today talking about 28. Is that the level I heard? Okay. I believe we are live on the air. Are we?
Hey, Briguy, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, Vester. Great. And let me just check with the room and see if we got everyone confirming here.
All right. Put down the chat room. Hold on.
Okay, sounds like you're coming out on the broadcast. So, welcome aboard, Vester. I believe my second guest calling into the show. Appreciate you doing that. And we were talking about bringing up something. Now, this is outside of the show that we'd like to get to a little bit later on. Vester was nice enough to volunteer to be on the show once before, and the schedules just didn't work out. So he's coming on now, and I think you said you had some of your buddies in the chat room as well that you wanted to demonstrate something.
Yeah, I just want to kind of demonstrate a simple thing that, over 4 years of paper trading futures, you come across and all kinds of different indicators. You think of the Wahoo things and make, the best trader in the world. And it comes all back down to square root, let me tell you. You get back down to the basics and you look at the candles. And I use moving averages and I use a slow stochastic. But the biggest thing is, if you look at candles and you watch a 5-minute chart, you rarely lose money. And you tend to make money based on that, because everything that you take from the candles gets feed into those Wahoo stochastics and indicators that you have.
Right.
Biggest thing that you get feedback wise is what you see on the candles first off. So what I try to do is take new people and I try to take them back to forget everything that you might think is the best Wahoo indicator to tell you to go long or go short, and you take the time, spend the time, and focus on the market. Look at the market, look at the candles, and then you'll get a better idea. Now, it's not that simple. I'm not going to make it seem like it's that simple because I employ moving averages. I use a 9 and 18 moving average line, and as long as my candles are above that 9 and 18, I stay long, or I stay cross, and I go short. Okay.
Okay.
oil with 50 and 120. So, and it's a longer period of time. If I zoom out to a 30-minute, a good example today will be oil. Okay.
Okay.
I was chatting back and forth between Ninja and the trading room. I'm just trying to fire my PL oil right now.
Sure.
But anyway, chatting back and forth with Ninja, and I said that, I got it on a 60-minute. I'm watching it on a 60-minute. I don't want to see any chop. What I'm seeing on a 60-minute, this thing's going right to 1990. And I don't think it got to 1990, and I did put a post in the room that said, I think we're talking about PL now. But, that said, there's different time periods that you can take and you can watch this market. And you can scalp it on a 1-minute chart. You can try to take a little bit of a longer term on a 5-minute. My standard is a 5-minute when I trade on. When you get into something like oil or CL, that's what oil is. I try to trend it on 15 minutes to 30. See which way that it's actually trending. Because if you take it and look at a 60-minute right now on oil, you see this one very nice long shorts. Some very nice movement on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have it up. I have it up on the broadcast.
Okay, so I don't have it on. Just getting the QR fired up now.
Yep.
The big thing is if you've got a good market position going in. If we got in, I had a 7:50 a.m. this morning signal to go long on CL, which is oil, and it would have been a $2 move. I got $1.50 of it because it's at the grill point now.
All right, hey Vester. Vester, give me 1 second because I'm having some folks saying that they're not hearing it over the broadcast. And while you were talking, I was playing around with the mixer a little bit, and
you have to bump me up a little bit on there.
I don't know if I blew it out a little bit too much or.
Go into the live stream and you have to bump up the visitor.
Yeah, I had it bumped up, but it was making me sound overbalanced, or I don't know what the term is. But okay, they're saying it's better now. So why don't you go on? So you're talking about the CL. We've got the CL up on the screen at the 1 hour interval.
Okay, so I'm not seeing that right now. I'm going to pull it up right now and have a look what you're seeing. You can see over the last 2 days, it's been very nice. It's been very signified short and longs and short. And the biggest thing is what I'm talking about with futures traders is what we all want. We want tick movement, right?
Right.
I mean, it's $50 a point, but if it ain't moving a point, you're not making any money. So what I was trying to convey in the room the other day was like, there's other markets that we need to look at. There's oil. Bonds are 32.50. 30-year bonds are 32.50 a tick or a point. So I mean, there's other opportunities, and I just wanted to point that out to especially new people. I mean, certainly like some older traders in the room already know that, right? But if we don't keep bringing this up and reminding newer ones, I mean, they're not going to know that. That's what I was just trying to do.
Okay, so we were talking about looking at your platform. So if you've got TeamViewer loaded up, then in the chat room, I don't care if it's Skype or in the membership chat room.
TeamViewer, or the load Ninja right here now. I got QS up right now.
Okay. Yeah, I'll need you to give me the ID and the password.
Yeah, well, we'll have to work this out together, buddy.
No problem. No problem. So, Vester, are you just trading futures?
No. I trade futures, and I've got cash and what do you call it down there? Your retirement registered funds.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got a bunch of cash in there. I want to day trade some stocks inside that right now because I got a couple things going on. We can shift out of futures to talk stocks for a minute.
Okay.
Because I do it all. I don't, right now, not really fuzzy horny on hold my 1,500 shares of AGNC, which is American Capital Agency Corp. The government now is going in buying $40 billion every month for the next 3 months, buying REITs. So it's going to paint them in a corner, and I think I want to reduce by half. I'm not sure what I want to do yet or not, but I'm thinking about reducing by half on my AGNC shares. And I think I want to move into some natural gas play because I think it's going to be a cold winter this winter. And if you take a look at natural gas has moved from like the 222 level up to the 350 level. Natural gas has been moving up, but the natural gas players have not. If you lay over a chart and you look natural gas over the natural gas players like in Canada,
Okay.
stocks haven't been moving. So I think that's a possible play. I want to put some money in there if I'm going to bet on a cold winter.
Okay. So
That's kind of a fundamental play on the time of period. And, that goes hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
If we really think that we're getting out of a recession here, and if anybody thought that this pull-up in the market was we're getting out of it, you're totally wrong, because every time we get out of a recession, the banks lead. And did the banks lead this time in this market rally? That's an open question to the room. So if we're truly out of a recession and we're going to move up, the first thing that moves is banks, then material. So part of my weighting is going to come out of the AGNC, some in the gas, because I think it's going to go winter, and I'm going to put some more in the banks. Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, maybe some more BAC. I've already got 1,000 shares of BAC, so I don't know if I'm going to go overweight on that. But I think that if I'm going to bet that we're going to get out of this, what's going to happen is the banks should lead out. The banks should rally first. And got some good news 2 days ago that earnings this quarter are going to be bad.
Mm-hmm.
But the ones that are really beaten down are going to do the best, are the banks. So I think the banks are going to rally. And watch for the banks to rally first and get this going. So I'm kind of trying to play my money somewhere in there. I'm going to reduce my AGNC based on that risk on the dividend. I'm going to hold, get my $1.25 a share. Should be paid in a couple of weeks on that one. But it's been a nice week player. But I'm 1,500 shares, got some serious capital appreciation on it. I'm almost up 10 grand on it, so I think I'm going to take about half off.
Okay.
Move some gas and the bank. I don't know. I was looking at JPM. I was looking at Wells Fargo. I'm not sure where to go on that yet.
All right.
But,
and you've seen the news about these supposed hackers that are going after some of the banks?
yeah. And how much do you believe in that? Really?
Oh, well, I've seen it happen plenty of times, so what the effect will have is just going to be the perception at this point, not necessarily the actual damage.
Yeah, well, it's going to be perception, exactly. And I don't know, maybe it's kudos that they finally figured out, I mean, America's in debt to China. How many billions? Now they're hacking into all your, yeah. But anyway, I don't want to comment too much on that.
Okay, no problem.
It's possible they could be doing it.
Yeah.
It's not too hard, but don't think that's not the Chinese. It's probably like they said on CNN early this morning at 6 o'clock when I was watching it. It's every guy in his underwear in the dorm room in a college doing it too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Trying to get their bones, as it were. But today it was, what was it, Capital One Finance today. And the one news article I saw, supposedly there's 2 more banks later in the week that are supposed to get attacked. So whatever the story, as we said, it's perception is a big part of it. So you have to take that into account. But I wanted to point out, before we get into anything else, Vester, is just to review for the room, that what Vester's talking about with his trades, you notice he's not going on about scalping trades or getting in and out of things, but he's actually doing research on the overall market and then taking positions ahead of time and kind of spreading it out too. It sounds like you're in different sectors. You're talking about natural gas. You're talking about banks. You mentioned the American Capital Group. So that's really something for the traders out there, is you don't have to feel like you're scalping trades and you've got to trade 10,000 trades a month or something like that in order to be successful. You can just take some smaller positions and then be ready for the longer term plays, and like you were saying, be ready to take some of the money off at the right time and bank those profits. Is that about right?
Well, yeah, like I said, I didn't really buy AGNC, which is American Capital Agency Corp, for capital gain, but I'm up like about $12,000.
And over what period of time would you say that's
I've been holding it now for probably about 2.5, 3 years.
Okay.
So I received some dividend payments. Now I received about $10,000 in dividends on it. So I mean, it's a beauty player.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hate to dump it. I hate to see these analysts saying that maybe it's time to get it and get dumping some. I thinking that maybe I'll hold, and they've cut the dividend from, it was $1.75 and they dropped it to $1.50 and they dropped to $1.25. Now they have to pay 90% out of their earnings. The big issue I have with this now is if the American government coming in and saying that they're going to be buying all these, like $40 billion a quarter. It's going to cut out some of the pickings that AGNC would have. So I kind of almost believe this analyst when he says they're getting painted into a corner or something like that.
Mm.
So I guess really, if you're holding it, what you would say is that you would dump it when you saw them drop their dividend. But I mean, it dropped $1 something today. I mean, it dropped pretty good today, based on all that. Now that being said, I'm still up good, but now I get to the point where it's how good is my patience? No, am I going to hold this? Are they going to be fine? I would like to hear from the company and be involved in a live discussion with them on how they're fitting. But I don't know. Maybe it's time to say, 1,500 shares, take 500 off, and then dump it into gas. I don't know. Still not a solid bet on gas yet either, but I don't know. We can bet it's a cold winter, but I'm thinking it's going to be. But.
Yeah, well, the only, I wouldn't call it a problem, but the only caution I'd have with that is the fact that most, if not everyone I've heard, is saying it's going to be a cold winter. So that kind of makes it hard to do a trade when everyone's going in the same direction. It might even be something to do a counter trade on it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it might be. Still believe that one thing that if anybody wants to invest and they're talking about long-term investment, you look at the materials and you look at the not so much gold. Look at some of the other ones that are in play right now. I got a little email the other day, and I'll give you a little heads up on this. What is that chemical coming into all the batteries, the new batteries now?
Palladium? Lithium?
Botox, not Botox. Anyway. It's a lithium type. It's coming in, and it's going to be like a rare earth thing, and the demand is going up huge on it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can come in and start, and you can find, hone in on a little company that has some reserves on it and or does well on it, it's probably going to be a company that does well. Just another little guy, just another little idea on stuff like that. But rare earth metals is going to be in play here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the big guys, the richest guys in the world, took that position years ago.
Yes.
And I'll say the richest guy in the world took a position on oil 20 years ago at $20 a barrel.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
For example. So I think that if anybody and everybody that wants to be a capitalist and wants to make money, they need to take a little piece of rare earth in their portfolio.
All right, so what are some rare earth companies, would you say?
a little bit of research that we do together.
I'm seeing Molycorp, according to on one side. I know that's not the there's a Chinese rare earth company that I traded a few times last year. Trying to think of the name.
Pull up my Gmail here on my other computer because I get a heads up on some of these things.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to throw it out to the members in the room if you got some suggestions. I see Molycorp being brought up there as well. MCP. And I'm seeing an actual rare earth ETF fund, REMX. And someone's putting RE in the room there. That might be the one I was thinking of.
RE?
RE. Well, that's kind of cheap. I don't know if that was the one I was thinking of. I'm seeing Vail come up as a...
Well, my 35 on the EST hit, by the way. That's good. Nobody believes on it, but 40 to 30, 10 handles. Thank you.
Oh, the trade you mentioned earlier. Yeah, I saw that in the room. That was just...
RE. So if you want analysis on RE, I'll give you analysis on RE. Looks like it's going to go up.
All right, let's bring that on the screen here. I'll throw REE we're talking about?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see if I can get my screen share going here on my desktop.
All right, you do that. I'm going to throw a daily up on the charts here for the viewers. And you can see this RE actually been beaten down quite a bit over the last year.
I got it oversold, and I got volume coming in here on a 60-minute, and I got volume coming in almost a third higher than the previous volume candle. And I think this puppy's coming up here, and I want to see if it's going to move over that. I don't know. It could go right to that resistance pivot at 486. Which is a little bumpy, isn't it? I don't know that. Anyway, yeah, it's come. I would look for this thing to move back to gap fill up to that 494 area here if it makes this move. But I'm not even sure. What do they do? Rare element. Maybe one you could buy 10,000 shares of. You know, make it good.
All right. Maybe now would be the time that we mention that tonight's show is for educational purposes only. Any trading advice you hear is simply for demonstration purposes and not for investment advice.
Full disclosure, I do not own it.
There we go. Rio Tinto, I think, was the company I was trying to think of.
Oh, Rio Tinto. Yeah. Rio Tinto is a nice one.
So
Rio Tinto will probably be a long-term hold in my RSP, I would think. This would be not Kramer Sticks, but probably the other guy. You know, taking hold these long. I believe that you should hold sectors, right? So you should hold some steel, you should hold some coal, maybe. I would dump coal, but some gas, you know, and you should have some banks, and you should have some materials, and you should have a good mix. And so if you want to trade individual companies, you want to pick the leader in that sector. So how do you find that, right?
Right.
So Rio Tinto is the name you come up with. Potash is a big one here in Canada.
Sure.
Alcoa is coming out tonight. Alcoa will come out tonight. Anybody know how? I didn't hear it. How did Alcoa do?
Alcoa, I believe they beat by 3 cents on the earnings. And let's see. I'll bring up their 1 minute, which looks like they went up and then down. Is that the way I'm reading this? Or they just took a face plant? Yeah, we have estimate was 0.004, so a fraction of a penny, and they actually did 3 cents on the earnings. And I believe on a little bit more on the billing, but their earnings call must have been poor because they dropped off the planet here.
Yeah, but the thing is, the analysts come out and they drop the earnings estimate, right? That's the problem. So even if they beat by 2 cents, you know, it's like 25 cents lower than the previous quarter. And that's what investors are looking at. They're looking at quarter to quarter. They're looking at see how they do it.
Yep.
I've already been told. I mean, we've already been warned that this earnings season, this quarter, earnings is probably going to be crappy.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get back to the ES now. So if the futures markets lead basically the market,
They're supposed to, right?
and we get told, that the earnings are going to be crappy right now, what can we believe as far as what are the futures going to do? That's a question I wake up with. So just kind of wondering, do you guys think this thing is going to go back to that 1586? It's the 5-year anniversary today of the high of the S&P. I thought at CNN at 7 o'clock this morning. Well, guess what? We're nowhere near it. We're not going nowhere near it now. So, I mean, what's going to happen if a Republican doesn't win the office? I'm not bringing politics into this, but, some of the hype on this market right now is that probably would desire a change in government. And I'm just wondering what happens if it doesn't happen. What's going to happen to this, basically, I would call malinflated market right now. So I think probably the fact that we can't even push up to that 1500 level right now, I don't think that, if Obama gets back in, I think we go down. If Romney gets in, possibly we get up. But I don't want to bring politics into trading. But, that kind of sentimental part you have to keep in mind of. You do.
Well, I'll give you one little wrinkle, and that is, and I heard this from someone on CNBC about 6 months ago, and that is they went back in the previous however many elections, and they found a rally in the markets after two situations. This is tied to the elections. One situation was after a second-term Democrat, and the other situation was after a first-term Republican. And they pointed out, of course, that in this election, we're going to have either one of those is what's going to play out. So with that in mind, what they were basically saying was that when Bush got elected, the most recent Bush, that there was a boom. When Clinton's second term started, there was a boom. When the first Bush was elected, there was a boom. When Reagan was elected, originally there was a boom. So that's what they did. They went back into those previous elections, and that's what they found. I don't know how much of that is coincidence. Of course, when laws get put into play, that's not just the president; it's Congress as well. And I don't know which party took over the Congress at those times. But it's something in the back of my mind as I'm watching this market going into the elections, is the possibility that any kind of pullback is just a temporary thing.
Well, I'll just put my 2 cents into this and what I see. I'm a 100% technical analyst, okay? I think everybody in the rooms knows that. And look at charts, it's not like fundamentals, I hate them. It's not, but, they are there. So back in April, I was calling for a marker up based on the fact there was an election coming in November. And we've been up ever since, right?
Mm-hmm.
So right now, as technology is looking at the market, what I see when I put it to a monthly chart, if you want to put the monthly ES chart up there because I don't have a screen share up with you.
Okay. Do you want to take a second and get that situated?
Yeah, let's get it set up so we can set it up. All right. I'm chatting with you on my laptop, but I wonder if I can do a screen share on my desktop.
Absolutely. They're not really connected, so.
All right.
Just let me know when you have TeamViewer loaded.
Yeah, just a sec. Had it right there. Just a second. There it is. I'll update. Been a while since I was on, so
that's all right.
A little update here.
Oh, okay. You don't really need the update if you want to just connect briefly.
Well, it shouldn't take long. I got an i7 processor here. It should do it pretty fast.
Okay. In the meantime, I have the monthly ES on the share.
All right. Take a look. You see a little inverted head and shoulder pattern there? Does anybody in there see that?
Let me just, I'm not sure how far. Let's see, we got...
So it's nothing to do with the election. It's all about...
Right.
That's what I like to say anyway. But you take that little inverted, a slanted inverted head and shoulder pattern.
You're talking about from the low up to where we are now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I really do think that we're poised to push back up to that 1586.75 level. Now, when we hit that 1586.75 level, start your mother. Because we ain't going higher than that. And it's going to be a good pullback. Look at what we pulled back from last time. 1586.75 down to 665.75. I don't think we're going to pull back down that far. I like to tend to draw a line on the bottom and the top when we hit these things, but I always believe in the 1, 2, 3 on resistance areas. All right?
Okay.
So I want to take the previous low and try to draw a line to that 666.75 and hope that maybe the worst case scenario will be maybe a 10,000 area or something like that, 1,000 area, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But, fully expect, and you got to, because markets do that as a natural thing to keep them healthy. Number one, as I always talk about, gap fill. So you look longer term on these charts, and you look at this one here. Where is it going to gap to now, really? This market's got nowhere to go but to 1586.75 low, and then drop. Perfectly on my moving averages. Once we get this team viewer thing going here, I'll show you what I'm looking at. It's going to be chopping back and forth and up, but it's going to be turning up, and it's going to get there. And it's going to be, look out Betty below, because, last time, like I said, we went 665.75. It's going to be something that comes in the mix and makes it work, but I always believe in a 1, 2, 3 on there. So I can zoom this out. I'll go to option expiry and see if we've been here before. Probably higher, but yeah, we were. 1586. No, that's it. So 1586.75, we hit that. We dropped from 1586.75 down to 665.75. Now we're from 665.75 up to 1433 right now. So where we're at right now, I'm telling you, there's no stopping this here. We're just making higher highs and higher lows all the way on the way here. As much as you think the market's down or up a day, overall we're going up. A little sideways movement today. I think it's going to be an up day tomorrow. So there you go. You want to go long on stocks tomorrow? It's probably a good day to go long. But anyway, got 1586.75. It's going to come back up, retest that, and it's going to fade back off that, guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that play out? I'm looking at option expiry now. I'll go back to a monthly. It's going to be kind of probably after the election. We like to think of these Christmas rallies or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But all I'm going to tell you right now is I'm holding my cash. I'm going to wait to buy stocks till after Christmas.
Okay.
And that's just kind of, I'm not buying at these levels right now. All right, I'm starting TeamSpeak now. Let's see if I can get that number for you. Oh, TeamSpeak's not number one. TeamViewer.
That's all right. Yeah, TeamViewer, and then get the remote control section. That's the one you want to have. And then I don't know if you have the chat room up. You want to type it out. Otherwise,
I'm going to close it out here and open it up on my desktop. I'm going to do the TeamViewer on my laptop.
Oh, okay.
That's where I had it last time.
So if you're tuning in now, we're on daytradingradio.com, and we have a special guest, Vester, here tonight, sharing with us some comments about futures and trading the futures. He also went over some position trades that he's been building up over the last couple of years in anticipation of different market events. And these are all different ways of trading, of course. And when it comes to your own personal situation, you could adapt some of these rules to yourself. We're looking at the screen now of a ES chart monthly, and I've labeled the price line at the top from the last high we had here over the last 10 years. Actually, since on Thinkorswim this got a bubble around it, this is the highest level for this chart period, and it's a 10-year monthly, 1586.75, which was reached back sometime in October of 2007. So Vester's getting his team viewer set up. I just got notice of some numeros. So let me get this ready here. And then, let's see.
Oh,
you set up as a meeting, so I need to go.
Oh, I don't know. I don't.
Yeah, do it under the remote control part. I don't have to move anything, but
Remote control.
it's the other tab. You should have two tabs. One says meeting, one says remote control. Do you see that?
No.
Okay. Well, you have three menu choices from the top. You got connection, extras, help. You see that?
I got video, conference call, voice over IP, chat, file bar.
All right, hang on. I think.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll try. You know what? I'll do that meeting ID and let's see what it gives me.
Well, it should work just with the two of us.
If I can see your machine and I could show that to the viewers, that's really all we're trying to do right now. All right, and I do have you up here. Let me just reshape my. This is good.
Oh, it's better looking chart than yours.
All right, so I'm just gonna bring over the Procaster.
All right, set that. I'll set mine up.
And then
Got it.
You can check it out on the website. They should be able to see.
All right, I'll start.
What you've got there.
Some startups here, but I want to chat room up here. If we're going to do some stock looks, I'll show you what I'm looking at right now. I'll change my view and show you that.
Okay.
I just want to bring it up so I can see what you're looking at. I want to get the chat room up so I can answer questions.
We had some comments earlier about stops, and I think you were part of that discussion, if you remember.
Yeah, what were we talking about?
Well, I just think in general, some of the traders were saying that they don't trade with stops, and
Oh yeah, stops. You want my opinion on stops? I'll give it to you.
Vester, why don't you give me your opinion on stops?
Okay,
but before you do that, maybe you could just give me your opinion on stops.
You're funny, Brian. I started teaching guys how to trade futures that were right out of the box, brand new. All right. So I always told them, make sure you use your stops. Because they're playing with small little accounts. And, you can't have it go against you like 5 ticks or 5 point. You know what I mean? You blow your account up.
Mm-hmm.
So I always told them, make sure you put a stop in. I always try to teach them, though, there's a simple premise that I said that, when you take these longs and these shorts and what you do, I mean, you have to do your homework every day, right? I think everybody, honestly, that trades, and I don't care if you trade stocks or you trade futures, you do your homework every morning before you come in to the trading room.
Amen.
Because you need to find out where the levels were yesterday. You need to find out where they were last week. As far as I'm concerned, you need to know where they were last month. But you need to take it all right down to the 5-minute chart. But you need to get back out and look at if you possibly use the slow stochastic. I like that. Like I said, I don't ever use the stochastic for entering a trade, but I do use it to help me decide on when I want to take a short, and based on what I see on the candle, and help me keep me in that trade if it's going. And I can do that in that same setup. I think the question was in there. That same setup I can use on futures, I can take and apply that to any stock on a daily or a 60-minute, and those same settings still work for me as long as I want a long or short a stock based on what I see on that. So
now, what about the idea, Vester, that your stops can be seen by the market makers, and they will drive the market to your stop, take them out, and then put it back to where it was just before that? Is there anything to that?
It happened to me today. Imagine that, eh?
Hmm.
Did you see that in the futures room, maybe?
Actually, no, I wasn't in the futures room.
God damn it, they got me. Yeah.
All right, so the point is though that it happens fewer times than it.
The problem is if you put that order in, and the market order is on the plate, the bot or whoever more than likely will take you out. So now I've moved from preaching to put a stop in to don't even put a stop in.
Mm-hmm.
If you do put a stop in, what I do, let me see if I fire my Ninja profile here. I have to close it here on my laptop and fire it up on the team share.
Okay. All right.
We'll close it down here. I'll show you what I do.
If you need me to get off your laptop with the viewer, let me know. I can.
I'm not on my laptop.
All right. Whatever works.
I can't have my
Ninja open on two machines.
Right.
Gotcha.
I want to open Ninja on the platform so I can show it.
Very good.
So hopefully we're good now. So I'll do that. This is typically where I do the Ninja trading, right here on this one. I don't have QS on this one. Usually I have it up here now, but just want to show you what I did today. Boom! I'm connected. Nice. So I'm connected to Zenfire. Get this thing out of here. How do we close that down? No, just the other way. All right. Can you see that on your screen?
Yep, I could see basically your whole sim. I'm just going to expand a little bit.
Okay, so this is what I have basically in my setup. Is I have slow stochastic, I have volume, and I have a double stochastic at the bottom. I just added that double stochastic recently.
Okay.
There's my DOM over here, okay? And here's my chart with my candles. Now I can take this and I can just zoom this right in here and make it big. Okay, you see how it zoomed in pretty good so I can see candle by candle, because what I do is I do two things. Number one is I want to watch these candles, and then my 9 and 18 moving average line here. And this line right here is an 8-period moving average. It's blue line, right following the break. Okay?
Okay.
So I use that 8-period moving average, and then I use that 9 and 18. And then when I see this come up here and spike to a high, higher than that one there, boom, put down, short it, and you see this come down and go boom, down, break right underneath 9 and 18, all the way down here on a 5-minute. Never did break over that 9-period moving average, all the way down. But I think if you scroll back in the chat room today, you'll see no 918 cross. I don't believe this. This is probably right here where it's going to start to move up. You thought everybody thought it was going to base out, and this is going to be another right down to 30. Now, this is what I talk about. Now, this is what I want to touch on tonight. Talking with people about looking at candles, right? If you get back to what you simply do, you need to get the chat room up here and see if the member is in the room that wanted to know what I was thinking about there. So I just want to show him specifically what I was talking about. So just to start to explain before I get into what I was saying. Okay, you're there?
All right, he says he's here.
Okay, perfect. Now, if you can see my chart right there, Gervais, you see what I see right there? I see, a reversal candle here, but does not get above that previous candle there. So it takes two candles to get up, does not even get up to the top of that candle. Okay, so when I see a doji, a candle down, a candle up doesn't make it, a candle up to my 9 moving average and down, gaps that one. Then we come lower on the open on this one. We just go even, we come back up, and we still come up, we touch there. So now this is like a 5-minute chart. There's nothing in the indication what I see in the candles there with my moving averages. It tells me this is a long yet. Yeah, you could take a little scalp. If you want to scalp a mini trade there from 31 to 33, you could do it. If you want to, now, those 31 to 33 trade scalps are probably a good thing nowadays, most times in the market. I can tell you, I've got some pictures saved on my cell phone from when the market was trading 2 years ago, and we had like 20-point move. I mean, it was easy. Just go long, boom.
Right.
And it's been very difficult lately, in recent months, to get anywhere. Is that right, Brian, or what do you think?
Well, I haven't been trading the futures this year, and but that is the experience I've seen. Even though at the end of the day, you see it's up 3 points, down 2 points throughout the day, you still seem to have that 9 or 10 handle occurring once during the day, but the rest of the day it's flat.
Yeah, and I kind of tend to try to draw to that because I know that's what they want. They want a 10-handle move. And the market makers usually get it done, right?
Right. But on this particular example, just to go over this again, you entered the trade up in this region, in the 1440 region?
Yeah, I was right.
Maybe after all this crossing was going on?
Right after that cross, I was right in here.
Okay.
Right at that candle cross, 40.
So what I wanted to point out to the viewers is that because you were in that trade, you can then watch the candles as they're getting drawn and evaluate to stay in the trade.
Yeah.
Now, this is different from someone else who's sitting here trying to figure out, like a double Dutch jump rope, that you're going to jump in here, or you're going to jump in here, or you're going to jump in here, or you're going to jump in down here. Here's a bottom. Is it a bottom? I don't know. Can we go long now? I saw a bunch of traders talking about going long in this spot down here.
Probably
the
spot right there.
Actually, yeah. I'm looking at the clock now, realizing this is the after hours. So, the point is that when you've got yourself, because you did your homework and because you were prepared, you entered the trade at something according to your plan, and then you got to sit back and watch it and stay in the trade much longer than maybe some others would.
Yeah, well, let me show you. Back, I went and immediately checked the 60-minute when it started this.
Okay.
So I look at this and I see this candle coming up here on a 60-minute, okay? Nowhere near gap fill. I mean, that was a huge drawdown at that point in the day, right?
Right.
So then I take and I go right down here and I look at my stochastic, okay? Then I look at my volume. Then I look at where my double stochastic is. Then I look at the follow-through candles after that. And each one, as this is breaking down here, is opening lower and closing lower. So I always go to a longer term to confirm. I go back to my 5-minute. Do I think this is going up here? Let me go back to a 60-minute and show you what it would look like back then. It was right in here. Now, same thing. When I talk about looking at candles and being cognizant on what you do with candles, look at this. Candle down, a doji. A reversal possibly? No. The next candle closes lower, but not as lower as that one. But it holds a 30 on a 60-minute and then opens another candle lower and closes lower than this candle here. And this one lower, and then this one lower.
Okay.
So I use that for confirmation whenever you get ambiguous on, say, a 5-minute. I never watch a 1-minute. I might look at a 1-minute to get an optimum entry in the trade, but I watch a 5-minute, and I particularly pay attention before I even get to that 5-minute, looking at the 60, the 30, the 15, the 10, the 5, 3. I go all the way down through. If I'm scalping, I go to a 3. But if you want to catch the full move, I mean, if you have the patience, you can actually draw like 100 points if you hold them based on what you see on these longer term charts. If you've got enough money to hold the overnight margin. So I just get a little miffed at times when I see people taking longs. I know it's just short. I don't want to tell them, hey, you don't want to do this now. I have posted in there, I don't like your long here now. And this would be a good class example right here. I don't like it right now, the long.
Yeah.
And then it'll go half right after that. So, I guess that's just kind of what I want to point out with candles. And if you get an ambiguous shot like that, like what I'm seeing right now, okay, on a 5-minute, we didn't gap fill this candle here. We did not even get close to anywhere gap in this one.
Right.
But, we did go down. We did kind of gap this one a little bit with this move up here. We'll come in for that 9, but then we failed with that and coming back down. So that would be a test. So your stop would be, see if I can do this on Sim just to see where I want to put it.
Order pending.
Okay, so there it is. So you put your stop on a 5-minute right there, above that 18 moving average. And you want to see then if it's going to actually move over this, then you want to say you want to sell one right here. So you want to sell one.
Order pending.
So you want to move it right down to that gap, right there. And that's kind of the way I do the trades right now.
Okay.
I try to pull the bigger moves. I did pull a bigger. I pulled a 6-pointer on the short there today when I got home.
Order cancel. Order cancel.
Go back to that. I can do it on the DOM too with Ninja. What I'm not familiar with on Ninja yet, I'm not that good on it yet. I'm not so sure on this ATM strategy. You set custom and then you go down there. I don't see custom on that. It's so easy on TOS set a trailing stop, but it's very hard to do it on this one. Stop 1, stop 2, stop 3. I haven't figured it out yet. I got to watch some videos on it. Tell you honestly, I just do the straight trades on it.
Well,
Set up my chart for
just as a suggestion, I'm assuming you've got this as a simulator. You can consider.
That's my live trading. It's sim right now, but that's my live trading demo.
Right.
That's my live trading platform.
Well, what I found with those multiple targets and multiple stop levels is that I set a few of them up and I practice. I let them go on a simulator, and then you could kind of see what it's about. And so when you have 3 targets, it only works if you've got more than 3 trades that you're putting in, because it'll basically be peeling your trades off a third at a time.
Yeah. Well, this is a Ninja Pro observer. Yeah, I went right out, paid the $986. I'm committed to doing this, and so I'm doing it. And I didn't want to have to pay for a monthly fee for it or updates, so I get lifetime updates with it. And this is the closest software as far as the charting. I'm really not a DOM trader. I really like to trade off the charts based on what I see.
Okay.
But when I say that, this kind of what I say with the stop. Now it's kind of hard because let's put a sim order in here now. Okay, so let's short this.
Order pending. Order filled.
Okay, so now I'll go down. I'll go back up here and see where the last buy order is here, and I'll do a buy stop up here. So I do it here because I think if I do it here,
You should just be able to click on it, no?
Should be able to. So I do it here. I just right click, get off the line, and I do buy stop 33.
Order pending.
So stops there.
All right, so you actually, on the DOM, though, you had it higher, though, didn't you?
Well, you should. What I would say, this is where you said we talked about stops, what you would do with it. If it's higher volume during the day, I would try to put this stop, and I can push this, outside of where you see the numbers trading here.
Right.
On the sell side. I'd take it one higher than that, just to get it outside of the target of the market. Okay?
Okay.
And then what I do is I just try to put an order in there,
Order
so they
pending.
sniff it out. So there you go. There it is. Take it. Take that one, not that one.
Right. All right. So just for the viewers here, you're looking at NinjaTrader Pro, which is available on a monthly subscription service,
You can
or
get it it's about $35 a month, I think, if you subscribe to it. I paid $985 USD outright to own it.
okay.
I'm committed to this for life.
So that's the option. You could buy it outright, and then you get a full license.
Or you can buy it.
Full data feed.
Full data feed.
And
you can have subscribed to another data feed, which is more real time, apparently. Let me see what it is here.
More real time than real time?
I know. More real time than real time, yeah. They tell you got real time, but there's a more real time.
Okay.
Not kinetic end of day. Is
it mirrors?
Yeah, it's mirrors.
Okay.
There's kinetic end of day free, but kinetic is supposed to be. I don't know. They keep sending me. I don't know. I'm not subscribed to Mirrors. I'm on Zenfire. I didn't even go to Mirrors. I just went right to Zenfire. But, yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll sort that out another time.
My data feed is good. My data feed is good.
We got somebody saying that it's now $65 a month. So it sounds like you got a bargain.
Well, for the Pro or just for the regular?
No, this is Geever again. And just to make another point, NinjaTrader is basically an independent software tool. And so I think they're also a broker in some degree. But for the most part, they integrate.
Yeah, they're just independent software. They're not a broker.
Okay, so they integrate with a myriad of brokers that are out there. And so Ninja's not giving you the data with your purchase? Or do you have to get the data through?
No, you get that through your broker.
Your broker, okay.
Essentially. And that's why it can be used with multiple clients, right? Whatever their data feed is.
Now, do you mind sharing what broker you're using? You don't have to?
Yeah, I'm using Mirrors, and I'm using the, what was that, Connect.
Okay. And have you found, if you've been using one versus the other, that there's a difference in placing the orders or filling the orders?
Well, I've had 2 or 3, I guess I've only had 2 real experiences, Brian, with the futures trading. The first one was with a company out of Toronto in Canada here, and they were bought by MF Global, and then we all know what happened with MF Global.
Mm-hmm. Lovely.
So, yes, I'm not sure if my data feed is any better than I had there, but I have the Zenfire feed right now. I don't use the Mirrors one. I don't use the simulated. Connect supposed to be faster. I got my software right now installed right now. What you're seeing is on my i7 desktop with a hardwire internet feed into it, not wireless.
Okay.
So I don't want any gaps in the feed of what I have coming into it, and it seems to be pretty good. I really haven't had any issues with it. I did have an issue with my Ninja software where I moved through. Let's say I go through my 5, 15, 30, 60. And then go to a daily or a monthly like that. When I would go back from a monthly chart back to like a 5-minute, the chart wouldn't load.
Mm.
So I actually had to contact them. That was about the time we were about to do our show, and I said I couldn't do it.
Right.
Well, number one, I had to work, and then when I come back and I did that, and I said, what, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Kind of makes it hard to demonstrate.
Yeah, so I had to send them a log file, and it works fine now. I can take this from a 5 minutes into a weekly. I want to look at it. It'll take a minute to load or more.
Yep, see it now.
Right. Yeah, a lot of lines in there. Isn't there? I'd like to bring my TOS up here. I just want to show this people daily. I have my analysis. See this? I've been looking. See that?
Mm-hmm.
Even all those pivots in there, so I'm just going to delete them out right now so you can see the candle.
And are those all price levels you've drawn in, or just trend lines?
Oh, I just drew all these in. Just give me a minute. I'm getting there.
No, it's fine.
All right. Now watch if I take all these lines over here. Since we broke all of them, so I'll just have my delete button on here. Delete. 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 Now, what do you see when you see these candles on a daily chart on the ES? Right now. Now, let me just move this line up just to give you a little hint.
Class.
Right where the 50 moving average is?
See if anyone's paying attention. There's a ongoing discussion about the data feed of Mirrors and Kinetic.
I see that. All right, pay attention, guys. What am I saying right here? Talk about candles. And we look at what we see right here on a daily, and we totally know that markets need to gap fill, right, guys? Markets have to have a target to go somewhere. They just don't wander aimlessly. They got a gap fill somewhere. So when we see it going somewhere, where do you think this market's going right now based on what you see on a daily?
Class. Kumar.
Anybody know?
Kumar, put down the cell phone and pay attention.
Joey says down. You always think.
Nice to see the conviction there, Joey. Appreciate that. Well, we're talking about pattern recognition, guys. So if you're going to trade, you got to recognize patterns. Understand candlesticks and understand candlestick patterns. It doesn't matter that we're talking about futures. This applies to anything you trade.
That's kind of the theory. That's kind of the theme of the show tonight, and this is just getting started on it now because I'm going to do an hour on it right now, hard on this. I'm going to go into stocks and do the same thing.
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to talk about the ES market right now and what you look at and what you see here based on a daily chart. And what do you see? I see 3 candles down. I mean, I see my stochastic still negative. I mean, I see my 50 moving average right around that area of resistance that I have at the previous low. I'm thinking that 14.22.23 is probably where we're going to be going right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you can take all the little chops up and down, all the way down there, but I think that's where we're going. Yes, we're going back to 14.23. And if we fail 23, well, we probably won't fail 23. See, we come over here. Let me point this out. We come up, and we big candle up, broke over it. And then we broke up to the high of 68. We come down and retest it. But let me show you what I'm looking at now if this really holds. And if we get a little push back up here and it's lower, let me show you what I'm going to show you right here. Just let me show you. So here's a high. I did it again. Sorry, bro. Love QS if I get my brain straight. No, we got to zoom this out.
Okay.
All right. So what I'm saying is you want to watch 2 things here. And you draw these on your charts, you know anyway. So what you're going to say is, got to tighten that up a little bit. Oh, there's a wick up there. So you get a high push up here, you come down to a lower high, you base down to the same highs, you come down. What do you see here? Class, what do you see right here? Anybody get it?
Starts with a W. All right, we finally got one. Beanstalker, you get a T-shirt. Yeah. I don't know how I'm going to get it to you, but you get a T-shirt.
It's like a wedge, but it's kind of a wedge, but more like a descending triangle pattern. Okay? So you got lows equal to that. What do you got? 26 area. Coming back down to that. Now we're talking long term. Regardless, you got it right. But anyway, that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
We're
you're
talking
going
about
basically
that.
straight out to the end of the year.
Come down. Yeah, we're going forward to now. Oh, past the end of the world. So don't worry about it. Yeah, but that's what it's looking at right now. I would not say 100% that's what it's going to be, but that seems to be pretty consistent with my feelings that if there's a disappointment after the election, it's probably going down. So the pattern is kind of setting right now, and it's
And if
we've seen it. Yeah.
if you don't mind me pointing out too, you have your moving averages also underneath.
Yeah, my 50, 120 underneath are coming up, but my 9 and 18 are crisscrossing back and forth, and it's actually took a nice turn down here today. So what I want to point out with my moving averages, not so much on a daily, but whenever I get my 9 and 18 cross over my 15, 120, there's my 15, 120 cross right there. When my 9 and 18 cross over that, I know we're going to go along for at least 5 or more points. And we went from 60 to 1316 to 1468. So we went many points when you get to that level. So when I take it to a 5-minute, I want to tell you that a lot of times I get a little disappointed lately with the way the chop mark, the action in the market. Well, I mean, when you use these, if you enter the short, when you see this 9 and 18 break through that 1520, which are pinned right here, and you take that short at 1450, and you come down, and if you honor your 120 moving average, that blue line, and you stay short all the way down, you're still short, and you went from 50 down to 33. That's why I like that 120, and that's why I like that 50 cross. That 50 cross. Look at right at that 50 cross 120. Look at that. Boom. Big drop. So it ain't just me looking at it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Now, when it crossed again, that would have been a place to close it out if you wanted to? Or would you consider that it's your 50's kind of sharply dropping into the 120 and you'd stay in it?
Well, then when you see the cross and you see the price action mix over the 50 there, you almost picked up to the 120. I just missed over that work. I'm close to it. If I'm up that many points at that point in time, I'll just keep my stop trailing over that 120. I'll play it that way. That's on a 5-minute. Now, if I put it on a 60-minute, you can see that there's a very nice, let's go back here. There's a very nice consolidation of the MA lines right here, and the break and the spread when the blue line come up the top of my 9 period. We get that boom candle move up, right? And you can see all the way up there on the 9 and 18. I mean, it gives it 9 and 18 all the way up there in an hour. And then it kind of broke down there a little bit. I'd be a little troubling there. And then it pushed up to that upper trend line. And I didn't just put it in there today. I want to show you that. Yeah, there's the one I put in.
Yep.
So you kind of see how we... just looking back to my last call for the long to 1400, but anyway. You can see how we're chopping around in here and we get lower highs. And if this diminishes down in here, then watch for this market to break down. These are EMAs. I tried SMAs once on a 5-minute chart, wing nut, and it ruined me. Yeah. EMAs. EMAs on a 5-minute. Trust me. You like it.
Are you talking, investor, because the audio cut out?
No, I'm just trying to draw.
No, go ahead. Now, just to mention this point about the EMS versus the simple moving average, exponential versus simple. The exponential will tend to flatten out the large gap ups and downs, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so when it comes, especially when it comes to overnight trading, it'll help to balance that out as you transition from day to day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exponential takes a greater number of points, consolidates it out, breaks out in their own average.
Okay.
So if you use the SMA, I mean, essentially you're just getting a simple, what's what it is, right? Simple price. So you could get an extraneous point, or 3 ticks lower than the average over the last 256 candles, which is just somebody got lucky and got an entry at that point. It kind of rules that out. So exponential takes the average into all those and just averages all out, kind of smooths it out. It's kind of the same thing when you move to a 5-minute versus a 1-minute chart. It kind of smooths it out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If you use the moving average lines.
So it looks like you're using a mix of EMAs and simple?
Well, I use stochastic slow, I use volume on the bottom, and then I use my standard 9, 18, 50, 120 moving average. My 9's a light blue, my 18's a purple, my 50 is a brown, and my 120 is a
But they look like they're simple moving averages.
Well, there's a mix.
I'm just going by what I see on the screen. The blue says it's an SMA.
Simple.
The light blue.
Moving average weighting is 120.
All right, so the 120 is the EMA. The 50 says it's a simple moving average.
That's a 2-line moving close average.
That's your 9 and 18.
Yeah.
And then
9 and 18 doesn't work in here.
And your
right?
50 is a simple.
50 is a simple, I believe, yeah. Okay.
Now, have you just been adjusting these here and there just to see how they're working for you?
I have done that in the past. I have not adjusted from what I have now because, if there's anything about what I've done over the last 3-4 years, like I said, I tried every combination of indicators you could possibly have under the sun, and it all comes back to me. Get back to the basics, boys, and look at your candle action. Okay, well, that's fine. I can look at candles on a 5-minute or a 10 or a 15 or a 30, but, how do I help, if I have a small account? I mean, I can't have it go against me like 45 ticks waiting for it to come back down. Well, that's where you get into entries. And if you take a look at, and if you spend the time and do the homework and draw the lines, like, see that one I just snapped in there on the lows coming down there? I took it off too, and look where it's bouncing right now.
Mm.
So you can get in there and get that little bounce off a trend line. You can take it for 3 ticks. I mean, anytime you take some profit when you get a small account, it's good.
Order filled.
It's good to take it. I'm not sure what just filled there in my stop, probably. No problem. Yeah, fly.
I don't see any dollar amounts. Or is this a profitable trade? Oh, your stop got hit, so.
Oh, I know.
Cancel.
No, it was. I filled them all.
I got it, okay.
Yeah, $862. Thank you very much. Anyway, that's not a good piece of software to do some demo on. So I use the 2OS platform for analysis. It's fine for putting my orders in and getting them out, but I really don't like it for analysis. So I'll say that as far as Ninja.
Mm-hmm. Actually, just to point out, since you are in the paper trade account, I believe that's a delayed feed, isn't it? In the paper account?
On the TOS here?
Yeah, because I have 1434. You've got 33.
I got 34 last trade. It says 36.19. Oh, sorry. No, 34 on the candle.
I'm looking
32.75 now.
in the upper right corner. I see a 33. I've got 34.
I got 34.
All right.
Yeah, the TOS, as far as Canadians, because I'm a Canadian. Have you heard me say A once yet? I'm more like to say
I do not know what you're talking about.
I got a condo in Florida. I'm more likely to say yo. Y'all see that this is a paper demo here on my TOS.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You know, guess what? I emailed them like 2 years ago and said, you know, can I trade futures with you guys? And they said, well, it'll be like 2 years before you can. Well, you know what? It's been like 3 years. And yeah, I still can't trade them. So I went and got a Mirrors account, and I paid $1,000 for the Ninja Pro software and said, I'm committed. So,
well, I could tell you that they finally did integrate it last year, but I don't know that it's all that to speak of.
Well, they're packing a lot of features into this. I mean, you know, you can do an awesome amount of things with TOS. I'm just using it as a basic thing. But you're going to pay more for it. So if you're on most average, I think I would trade 11 contract turns a day.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, probably only 3. So if you get into getting an account with TD Ameritrade, and I could do that because I have a condo in Florida. I could open an account down there. Actually, I have a Bank of America account. You're going to pay more if you're just doing these trades on futures. But, you know, you get what you pay for, and they do pack a lot of features into it. And a lot of people, I mean, feel free to chime in, some of you people in the room there that have had issues with TOS on the computer. And I just don't get it because, I mean, I run it right now on my i7, I run it on my laptop, and I run it on my quad-core PC, and I have no problem with my TOS running. So I don't know why people have issues with it, but I don't do anything special. I'm assuming if you add too many different indicators onto it, possibly could slow it down. But
yeah, and there are actually ways to delete older drawings that go back so long. You don't need to keep them in there. You can manually remove things, of course. And just to be fair, I love Thinkorswim. That's my platform that I use. I like it. I agree with what you're saying. It's a rich platform. I'm just talking from using it as a futures account. They've got a lot heavier leverage requirements than most other brokers. So from that standpoint, they recently lowered it, but it's still somewhere in the $4,000 and change per contract to trade the ES. And yet you can go to some of the other brokerages out there. Vancar, I think if you just went in and open up an account with 10 grand, I think theirs is about $2,000 a contract. If you're an experienced trader, you can probably get that down to $1,000 or maybe even $500 a contract for your leverage. But
yeah, I got 500 with Mirrors.
Yeah, so Ameritrade. Now I hadn't considered appealing that with them, but straight off of their regular arrangement, it's something like $4,000 and change, and they fluctuate it because actually when I first started to trade in the futures, I used my TD Ameritrade account through Thinkorswim. I had to have them change something on the back end, which altered my software some way in order to let me do bracket orders because it wasn't initiated with the way I had it. What I think happened, and I haven't researched this, but what I think happened was they were still having all of their Thinkorswim clients on one server and all their TD Ameritrade clients using Thinkorswim on another server, and I think their futures connection was through the Thinkorswim connection. And so in order for me to use the bracket orders and have it routed that way, they had to switch me to the other server. It doesn't really matter. The point is I had to have that done. And so here I was trading on Thinkorswim, and I'm using this. At the time, it was something like $5,000 leverage. And one day I go in and I went to go put a few contracts on. I had it all calculated out, and it was rejecting the order. And I'm sitting there scratching my head, and I did the math again, and it's rejecting my order. And I got them online. There's like a support chat. I go on there, and they go, "Oh, the leverage requirements are $5,500." Well, that would have been nice to know at the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
I said, didn't you think if you changed it overnight, don't you think an email? You send me emails about every other piece of crap you guys are doing. You think an email to tell me that you're changing the leverage requirements would be something that you might want to tell me about?
$600 in ES contract with Lynn Waldock when I started with them.
Yeah,
They're the ones that got bought out by MF Global.
Which one? Yeah. Well, needless to say, that kind of spoiled my interest in trading futures with Thinkorswim any longer. But it's definitely, I use it for analysis, and I trade my options through Thinkorswim, so it's great. I do like it for that.
Yeah, I just kind of want to say that, $1,000 for the Ninja Pro.
Your audio just turned into.
Yeah, I know. I just kind of moved, but I'm coming back, so it should be getting better.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on a mobile.
Is this a microphone from the 80s or?
No, it's one from the 2000s.
Oh, okay.
I'm on a wireless bud, so I'm walking around with it.
Oh, I got you. I
had to go get my coat. Anyway, yeah, you're exactly right. But, that's exactly, you expect you're going to pay more for TOS because they're packing so much more into that software and hopefully the support than what you may get from, let me say, my company, Mirrors, or whatever the company you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So I just wanted to say on the first thing that, well, number one is I emailed them 2 years ago. And they got back to me and said, we can't have trading futures in Canada here for at least 2 years. So I said, screw it, I ain't waiting for you. Okay. So I went to Lynn Waldock first, okay? And I traded for a while at Lynn Waldock, and they were out of Toronto. And then they got bought by MF Global.
How convenient.
Yeah. If anybody's been here for a while, they know what happened with MF Global. So, fortunately for me, I got my money out because they really pissed me off because, anyway, I opened an account with them, downloaded their software, and I couldn't trade for like a week. The money was in there, showed in the account, and I couldn't trade. The margin exceeded. I was pissed. Anyway, that's when the market was tanking bad. But anyway. So anyway, I got my money out before MF Global went bankrupt, and it was so close to the wire that I was getting the emails from whatever holding company was covering them, saying that you need to get your money out, you need to contact us at this bank, such and such and such.
Right.
Anyway, so it was pretty close to the wire. But anyway, so I sat on the cash, and then I opened a Mirrors account and bought the Ninja Pro, paid $986 USD for it, lifetime license, free updates for the rest of my life, not paying a monthly fee. But that's my commitment to doing it. I'm going to stick with it, I'm going to go it, and I'm going to make good on it.
How's their support?
I haven't had to support them yet, but I did send one email to them, and they got right back to me, and they said, told me exactly what I need to do. Send me my chat or my logs.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
I moved. The only problem I had with it was I moved from like a 5-minute to a 15 to a 30, and then I would go to a daily or a weekly chart, and I go back to a 5-minute and it wouldn't load.
Okay. And you said you got that fixed, though, after you reported it?
I reported it, didn't give them the log files, but I just did it tonight and it worked fine. So.
Okay.
Anyway, they must have taken care of it. I don't know. So it's it's pretty stable. Usually no issues with it. And really what steered me to the Ninja guys, just so you know, is kind of gleaning myself and learning on the TOS platform. Really sweet charts, right? Got to agree on that one. So I trialed out a different a few different companies and software and stuff like that. And what I like is, I really like the ability to trade off the chart. I can do it off the DOM. Not a problem. But for me, as a technical analytical type trader, I really need to see the chart. And I want to see my entries based on what I see on the chart. So I don't want to be so numb-brained to do it off a DOM. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, when you say taking trades off the chart, for our viewers, what exactly are you referring to?
Well, I can right-click right on the price. I can edit it at whatever price I want.
Are you talking about in NinjaTrader?
That's in Ninja.
Because you could do that here in TOS too, of course.
You can do it in TOS as well too. But see, that's another feature that I liked with Ninja that you could do on TOS, because I do it in TOS as well.
Right.
I kind of like TOS better for when you right-click anywhere on the chart, you can select to choose, draw a trend line, draw a price line, enter a trade, or do anything like that. For me to do it on Ninja, I have to actually click on a drop-down box at the top, draw a line or draw a trend line. I cannot do it right-clicking on the chart. But to right-click and trade on the chart on Ninja, you have to enable the chart trading, essentially. So there's just a one button, you click on that, and you enable that chart trading. So it's just a preference for me, like I say, is, if I see that, markets come down to a double bottom or at a pivot and it's going to bounce and I want to take a buy order at the pivot, I can just right-click on that pivot and put a buy order on. It's not as sweet as TOS. TOS, I can just click anywhere on the chart. I can move my mouse and right-click and put a buy or stop order, and it remembers where I clicked on that chart, and it'll put it right there. So, yeah, you get some nicer things with TOS. You pay for it, but, yeah, it's nice. I would prefer to use TOS for all my trading, personally.
Right. But then you just laid out $986 for NinjaTrader Pro.
Yes, I'm pretty much committed to that.
By the way, you've got, just for purposes of our viewers again, on the screen, you're looking at the paper trade side of Thinkorswim, and you've got the time and sales listed on the right side border, and you've changed the setting to filter it by trades over 5. So
right now at night, I filter it over 5.
okay.
During the days, I filter it over 10.
Over 10. All right. So there's
So that's a volume difference there. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah. Because I'm looking at individual. Sorry.
You know all about that. You know how to change that?
Yeah, I do. But if for demonstration purposes, maybe you can just point that out to the folks about changing that in the time and sales window.
Well, I can't want to get back in there. I'm out in the garage having a smoke right now. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what I can do then is I could bring my screen over and I'll show that to you.
Thank Mr. Gass. Dr. Gass is the one that showed me that.
Oh, okay. Very good. So, folks, what you're looking at here is the ES chart. We've got this column of tabs that are over on the right side of most charts. And this is the time and sales. You can see I can turn that off and I can turn that back on again. And at the top of the right side of this is a little orange arrow. You can click on that little arrow and it brings up an options choice. I believe actually if I had this expand a little further, no, it's still the same thing. So anyway, you click on that and it gives you a way to change this to showing just the orders that are coming through greater than, in this case, greater than or equal to 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, and then you could do custom size and even do minimums and maximums. For purposes of the futures, we have Vester with us here. Thanks for joining us, Di. So Vester's suggesting that he's learned to have 5 on the overnight markets, and during the day when things are more active to have 10. And that's just to have for the time and sales prints that are coming up here on the side. There's enough movement going on. Sorry.
You go from green to red, green to red, green to red. what you really pay attention to is you start looking at, like 175 or 200 contracts buying at a level. And, if you're buying at a level that you have to drop 10 handle, maybe they went short 256 at 50, So you got to kind of pay attention to that. So you got to take it in credence. You can't commit yourself to that 100%. But if you see lots of orders coming in after that, selling 20, 50, 100, you got an idea then that possibly some of the pros maybe are selling at this level and think it's going low. So it's just kind of a little visual aid. It's not really anything as an indicator as entering or exiting. It's just kind of a little...
It's another tool, basically. It's another tool you use to read the market, to evaluate what's going on.
I can put this to 1 or all. Now you see all these 1s and 2s.
Oh, I have your screen covered. You're back at the desk?
Yeah, I'm at the desk now.
All right, so go ahead. Or are you going to explain?
So right out this line. Now, where did this line come from? Let's zoom this out. Oh, this is the one I just put in tonight. There's the one I had from the 41.75 level. Okay, across. There's my top line coming down. Perfect. Got 2 points here and here. And I got this line here now. So do we expect a bounce in this area? Well, yeah, we do. So we get this bounce here now. How far does it bounce? That's the question.
Right.
This is an hourly chart right now. I have it on. Makes it a little more defined and clean. Put it on a weekly just for a minute here and just see what we did.
In fact, I was going to mention the lines you got there almost are forming a pennant flag to some degree.
Yeah, when you look at it on the weekly, see what I'm looking at?
Staying right in there.
Coming into a wedge pattern or a descending triangle pattern here. We don't take one of these daily this is a weekly. Let me put on a daily. I'm trying to be a little foreseeing above there to help you guys out in the market here. So we come up here to 68. We come down basically that trend line at 24. We come back up right to that line. That's where I actually stopped it in those 2 points. Come back down. Now I stopped this line in here today. No guarantees that this is going to hold and this doesn't come back down to that level again. But still, at different time frames, what you see here is like a descending triangle type pattern playing out, right?
Right.
That's a daily. For a weekly. Well, I was at a weekly before. And it's the same thing. You come down high 68, you come down, up, down. See how it's kind of compressing in here?
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to break down. And where do we get to? Never gets right to the end. So let's get right back here to November 19th. Watch this break down hard.
And what about the volume? Is that telling you anything? Or is that last candle representing this week?
That last candle right now represents the start of this week right now, and that's why it's running this big, and it's on a sell. Notice how it's pretty good here. You see you got a couple sells going in here, but it still move up. And this thing is still kind of in an uptrend. Let me zoom this out. I need to update it from today and yesterday. Extend this line up. Yeah, keep that there. All right. So 81. A little high. 68. So what would be very bullish for me if this works is if this breaks this pattern right now. Do you see how it's been, up there, kind of holds and then break down and then up and then back down again? It's kind of holding this descending triangle pattern right now. But, I mean, if it holds this pattern going up right now, it's not going to drop far, right? It's going to drop 1,400 at the most. And this is kind of what I do on my homework in the morning when I look at it, right?
Right.
And you don't see what happened before that, so you need to go out further. Period option expiry. Look at this. Now I get a different view on it. You know, if I'm looking at what I want to do with gap fill, as far as we can go from the 665.75 low up to where we are now, see where we are, right here, right where the price action killed there, the 18 moving average at 1449. So then I take a look at, okay, what we got going on here? My stochastics are going north. My volume looks good. It's not any huger than this move up here. It'll sell volume here, but it's half a day. Volume average is running 50. See kind of a descending triangle and maybe inverted head and shoulder pattern, and maybe breaking out to the upside here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of a point in question right now with this candle here. Whether this candle stays above this one on a daily, and that takes us down to, well, it takes us way down, 1392. So we're not going that far, but the body of the candle is at 14, 17. To me, I don't see any difference in the stochastic here. Look like we're still pinned. This could be just some profit taking this level. I'm not sure what Kramer would say, but I think we're still going to go higher. I think based on this pattern here, so that it's perfect. Up and down and up. I think it's going to go. So 1586.75 was the high. If I take all that garbage out of here and just put the candles on, probably see that it doesn't look any different than this move up over here. Okay. We'll pull back down to 18. Now see how far we reached this. Well, we actually reached it pretty good there, but hit that line and kept going. So I really do think since we're here versus the high there, we got a higher high here. I think that this market is going to be heading to that 1586.75 level.
Yeah, it's almost an inverted head and shoulders at that point.
Yeah. So I don't think that's going to break it at that point. I think we're going to look at the last time we hit it. We were down to 660, 665. So let's see. We're coming into election. Democrat gets in. Let's see. The only thing I can snap on is there's a line there at 785, and we went lower at 665.25. That's as far as I can go out on this thing.
You might be able to go to 20 years if you use the style button instead of the presets.
There you go. 20 years. So. No, same thing.
Yeah, your thing updated. You probably can scroll left now.
Oh yeah, all right, good, cool. So what do we got? Pretty much a 770, let's say, for argument. I got that extraneous low there and put it on the candle itself over here. So 768. Snap this line down. What looks favorable to me right now is I like a 1, 2, 3 in the markets. Okay?
Right.
So you come up here once, you come up twice, third time should be the charm, and it breaks higher. Once, twice, third time. But there's such thing as triple bottom break. There's the M pattern for murder. There's a big M right there, but you see we didn't. It went up. Typically with an M pattern, this is what you see. You see it come up here, form the right side, or left side of the M, come down from the center, and then come down. Then you get some sideways consolidation in here, and then it breaks lower. Well, we didn't get that. So what we have here is a nice movement, and I call it a 1, 2, 3, and 3 on this level, so we go higher.
So 3 and out.
Yeah, 3 and out. That's what I say. 3 and out, baby. Boom, boom, boom. Think so. So then how far do we go? That's the question. And you look at this, it's consolidating nicely here. From a nice W, actually. If this gets a little higher here, it should be actually higher, but, from a nice W. But kind of a little nice inverted head and shoulder move on this. A slanted one here. This big one here. This bases off that, what's the other one I called there? Oh, the cup and handle. Yeah. Started this in play. Let me go up here to this. Yeah, I think deux, trois should go higher. But once we hit those higher highs, what happens then? That's the question. Some bad news comes in. Iran launches nuclear weapon. There you go. We're down. We got the end of the world to think about. 12/21.
Well, actually, if you go back and see where that trend line is that you drew at the top of that triangle, I think right where it hits the lower trend line is 12/21.
Yes, man. But yeah, really looking at an analytical view of the markets, that's what it should do based on what I've seen watching charts for the last 4 years. When it's come up to a level twice, third time it's the chart, it should go. Same thing when the market drops. If it's dropping on a pivot area or a trend line that you have and it comes down for the third time, probably will break it and go lower. All right, so you guys all sick of that now? Anybody have any stocks they want me to look at? Give you my best feel for or what?
Yeah, guys, again, we're here at daytradingradio.com. We've got Vester on the air, a member with us for, well before I was on the station, but well respected in the futures room. If you guys want to call out some stocks, we'll bring it up on the screen live here and take a peek. So we got some people asking about Alcoa. Obviously, they had their earnings out today. And I don't know if Lock and Profit, if you're already in the Alcoa or you want to talk about a fresh entry. We'll give Esther a chance to update that.
All right. For all these, I'm going to put it on a week or a daily. All right, give you an idea on a daily.
Sounds fair.
So Alcoa is up first.
I'll keep track of the stock, so you let me know when you're ready for another one.
Okay. So all right. So Alcoa is first. Kind of disappointing there. This is after hours. Sorry, this is today, but anyway, this looks fine right now as far as what I'm looking at with Alcoa. Huge volume here right on the earnings announcement today. 3 must-miss estimates, I'm guessing. I'd be leery on this one right now and see what it does in the next couple of days. As far as the technical analysis on this, what I would say is you look at this coming up 1186, 1166, and that's a pretty clean line. Right off all these highs are failing on this line here. So now what I'm also looking at here is you come down and base down on this and you get a higher low base here than you did here, and you get a higher one here than here. So now what I would watch for on a technical level, in a bad spot here. So I could draw the line on the bottom here too, so you see it's in a downward channel. But just imagine there's a line off that point going down here. So what it would look like, it's basing out here. It's coming up. But you know what's kind of forming here? It's kind of like a little head and shoulder pattern here. So I'd be very leery on this one if it missed estimates. It probably could come back down here to that 797.0. Could. I do like the higher low. High here. This high candle here and this big drop after that. A little leery on that. And earnings out today, I see they kind of be equal to the last quarter. Probably going to be a market follower.
All right, so for somebody who's already in the trade,
if you're already in it, depending where you got in, I would say probably getting out now would probably be good.
okay.
If this is forming a right shoulder going to drop, I would probably get out of it. Stop with AA.
Okay.
Next.
All right. Let's. If you're ready for another one, we've got APH, and I'm not as good as Ben with the. All right, you've got it. I don't have to do a call sign.
Yeah, I'm good. All right. So again, on daily on this, earnings coming up here. On 8th. Let me zoom this out.
That looks like a conference call. Oh, and earnings. Never mind. Forget I said that. That's October 17th before the market. So next Wednesday, earnings are coming out.
Any idea on that one? A request? What the earnings are going to be?
Ethanol?
Right now, what I see in the daily is when you break down here and you do the sideways consolidation, it's probably going to be another breakdown. And thinking the support level is going to be this trend line at the bottom. But, don't like that. Don't like it on that. And the stochastic seems to be waffling here on the daily. So be careful on this one. If you think you're going to pop. Think about with surprising earnings. This could just shoot like a rocket back up. But right now on the setup on the chart, when it comes down and it bases out like that, it usually goes down again, and probably this trend line is where it's going to go.
All right. The next one we have is LO.
LL?
LO as an Oscar. You got a slash in there. Lower Land. Lower Lard.
Lower Lane.
Lower Lade. Is that a French company?
It's interesting because you get in here and you got to start looking at drawing lines and trying to figure out what the price is doing. So just a bit.
Let's see. We're looking at October 24 earnings.
It's going to be something that's going to be going on with all the stocks here, but check this out.
Yep, I got you, J-Dub and Joey. Cigarette maker. Polygonal.
Seems like maybe we're going to get a drop. Maybe
Yeah.
we're going to drop in every stock in the market right now. They're all setting up. What did Johnny say today? He saw head and shoulder patterns setting up on all kinds of different stocks, right? This one looks like it's coming into a descending triangle. It looks like it's going to break lower. And how much lower? If you're long on this, if you're at a level in profit, take it now, because it's probably going to go back down to this 106.79. Wow. That's a cigarette maker?
Here's your low for the year, the 52-week low at 106.46.
Well, if it breaks this level, I think it's going there.
Let's see. They make the Newport brand.
Where else is it going to go? Go to this drop? That's where it is right now. So right here is where it's going now.
Yeah. And you really got to take into account what's going on with the overall market and consider, like you were saying earlier, if the banks are not rebounding or driving anything up, and they're
all this is a strict technical analysis. But if the market's going to go gangbusters up, well, then these things can go up regardless of what the technicals say, right? Technical analysis does not work all the time. I can draw descending triangles on the futures just to see the pattern fail, which to me then tells me I should be very bullish on it because that pattern that was a negative one just went positive. And, you know, so there's ways you can use the patterns. Learn the patterns first, and there's ways you can learn the patterns to your advantage. And that's like Features 202. But anyway, yeah, exactly.
all right. We've got Hess.
Oh, Hess. I've been watching Hess. I'm looking for a buy opportunity in Hess, and I haven't found it yet. But,
And we just had some comments in the options room a couple days ago, maybe Monday actually, regarding a large put order that was placed on Hess at the 5250 level. In fact, I was still reading this article on my laptop. I'll post that in the room if anybody's interested. And the name of the article is Hess is facing a large downside position from Option Monster.
yeah, well, let me just draw a simple line on here. Hess has been a bit of a concern, and kind of watching it for a buying opportunity, but I don't want to buy it up here. And I'll tell you why right now. See this? Off that high spike, 786. Look at this. Boom. And flattening out here. Hess kind of looks like to me it's ready for a drop. So I'm kind of holding this right now. We've got a lower high here. I want to see a lower low than this one put in actually. So I want to see this come down. Yeah. And Hess for me will be a buy down here in the low 30s if it gets there.
It would almost seem interesting.
I really think that possibly that a lot of these stocks could set up for some lower lows coming into a disappointing earnings season and disappointing election.
Yeah. And actually you have a lot, if you put the volume profile up, you're right now coming off of the spike of the volume profile on a 1 year daily. And that's around the 55 level, which reaches back to the January 24.
Here's the maximum time I can get on this. And look at this. Look at this candle here. Look at this red right here. Right there.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're going to get some resistance on this. Now, my charts tell me there's a semi-cup formation on this. Where is it?
I'm curious to find out how you got that up there.
I added it. Oh, there it is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's not a handle. That's further.
Yeah.
So, semi-cup fail.
Is that a note you added, or is that a study that's in there?
That's an indicator you can add on to it. You see that how it comes down. You don't really form a right side. A right side to me should be 2/3 of that, or a left side should be 2/3 of the right side, and then you should get a pullback down and then a pullback up 50% of that left side, which is your handle.
Right.
And then a pullback down about 75% and then move. And that's, I got like 5 YouTube videos on that last couple of handles that push us up here to the 1400 level, and that's what I was looking at. I don't see any of that going on right now. But for this one, these candles here was coming in pretty good. You know, it's pretty negative going all the way down here. Volume coming in here was pretty good on these two right here. Today, because the market was down, you can see volume was lower and it was on the sell side. If this pattern continues in continuation, I would say that this thing should push back to the 87.13 level based on what I see in here. If we get out here at 68.31, should go back up. Stochastic looks good. volume on the last 4 days prior to the day was looking good. A good move here from the lows going up. The moving average lines, you can see how they work and they don't work. See how it pushed up above. I mean, a nice long, come back down, did tell you the short to here, but I mean, you still would have good done on a short from break the line there to there. And then here, big whip down, pulls back up, comes back down, and then pulls down hard here, and then kind of sideways consolidation, slight move up. This move up here really doesn't convince me that this stock's going to move up right now.
Mm-hmm.
If this thing actually breaks this line here, and has to break my 50 and 120 moving average that are right here, stacked right over that line, then possibly, yeah, fill back up there. But right now, to me, it looks like it's following the general direction of markets, and it's probably going to go down based on hitting that resistance coming off that. All right, that's half. That's why I'm still not buying it. Who's next?
All right, let's go with SIRI. SIRI.
SIRI was a stock du jour today. So that SIRI was trading up pre-market nicely this morning at 6:30 a.m. I was watching. What does SIRI got? You know what SIRI's all about. So, I mean, take it for what it is. You know what it's all about. You think it's I don't know. I wouldn't touch SIRI, but I mean, look at it. It looks like it's poised to push back up and gap at least that previous little drop down area. They're around that line right there at 402. I really don't like looking at stocks under $10, but anyway.
Yeah, you really, in some ways, got to play with volatility, and you're not really getting that with such a low volume stock. All right, we had a group of the big boys thrown in, and I'll just name them all, and you decide how you want to play this. Apple, Google, Amazon, BIDU, Priceline.
Really? Well, so we look at Priceline, since that got downgraded by my 1,000 shares of
Lovely.
Bank of America this morning. What's the symbol?
PCLN. Priceline, PCLN.
No, Netflix. No.
Oh, you're onto Netflix, NFLX.
All right, let's take a look at it.
I give you 5 stocks, and you take a 6th.
All right, let's take Netflix. Well, Kramer said this morning, I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. When I saw it pre-market this morning, it was already down $5.86 per share before the market opened. And look at this. Nice TP. Netflix has some growing to do. I mean, everybody knows it. And anybody in the room grabbed Face Flop? I'm sorry if you did, but, you know, there's another company that needs some growing room. That's why I don't like to touch these new ones. And kind of the way the sentiment was going with Netflix today was, you know, they set a great precedent in delivering content to home. But you take a big CBS exec says that, well, yeah, they're great, but if somebody else comes along that's better, then I'm going to jump to them. There's no commitment to paying the money to Netflix to do it.
Right. And they spent all this money creating the library in order to get the customers. And then something I don't understand is how those deals didn't even last very long. You know, it seemed to me like they would have signed deals that lasted much longer and maybe even a little bit more exclusive. Otherwise, you know, the day after their deal expires, Amazon signs on and makes a new deal, or DirecTV, or, you know, whoever it is. I think their only hope at this point is the original content that they're starting to produce. If they can start to do that and leverage themselves like an independent cable channel and put themselves up against those boys, then I think that's a business model that'll last a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's a long road to hoe, right?
Absolutely.
Right now. So.
All right.
All right. Get on next.
We got Halliburton, HAL.
You said you had all the big boys, eh?
Oh, yeah, you can Google. Go for those. Apple, Google.
Want to do Apple?
Yeah, let's do Apple. And here at, if you're watching us on live stream, you should know that here at daytradingradio.com we have an Apple Scalpers trading room. Vester, I don't know if you've taking a peek into there.
Oh, I see.
We got some pretty good traders that are in there trading weeklies basically every day, and
See, there was a trade on here, right? Anyway.
so let me ask you this outright: do you think Apple's broken at this level?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I want to ask you, I want to ask everybody in this room, all you pro traders, I want to ask you a question. Do you think Google has an edge on Apple technology and what they could possibly do as far as pushing their stock price up? If you think Google is going to have the edge, put a 1 in the room. If you think Apple can overtake Google and what they offer, put a 2. So we got a Google. Log and profit, just Google.
All right,
Google
we got
better.
2 Googles.
Google we're going to analyze next.
Are we going to get a Google of Googles?
We're going to get Google of Google.
Well,
Yeah, because you know what?
5-0 on Google.
Googles and Googles, you know what? They're cooler than the Apple chicks. You know what I mean? They hire all the coolest guys, they have fun, and guess what? They hire the brightest minds and the newest minds in pushing technology to what the newest, youngest group are growing up to, what they want.
Yeah.
Look how they've advanced in their maps and everything else, right? You know, what was the biggest downfall of the Apple launch? Biggest was their maps, right?
The iPhone 5.
Everybody was on Google Maps, like Google Maps. And then Apple comes out with their maps, and they're like, that sucks.
They got bridges that are all broken down, and
Yeah. So yeah, Google, man. If I was going to invest money, and if I had to choose between Google and Apple right now, guess where I'm going to put my money?
in the sofa.
Yeah, that's right. I'm waiting until after the election.
That's what you told me. I'm keeping track. That's all.
That's good. It's good you're on top of that, Brian. Hey.
But you know what? To me, Apple is more of a public. It's a product that the public just loves to have. It's a cool thing to own an Apple product. Google is more of a geeky thing. You know, if you were back in the day doing your searches on Alta Vista or on InfoSeek, and someone whispered in your ear about something called Google, and you started using it and could see how quickly it gave you search results, you were hooked from day one. I know I was from day one. And now Google can tell me that they're coming out with a new phone. I want to know about that phone. I'm interested in the phone. If they're telling me they're doing some Google television thing, I'm interested to know about it. I don't know what.
They've already got the chat, so.
Yeah, and if you go and go into Google and click on the More button and check out all the different projects they've got going on, the Google Labs projects. There are so many different things, and I check into them and play around with a bunch of them. Now you don't want to bring up your private stuff. Yeah, just go out to Google.
I'll bring it up. I'll bring up mine.
Google Canada. Did you mean Google Canada?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just click on that More tab.
Here's where I live. Want to see where I live?
Aha.
Let's see.
We're going to do a room raid in your house.
There's Bath. There's Toronto. That's me. Alright. Right here. Bring in the count too and all.
You're just shy of putting the exact address.
Right on the river.
Oh, okay. I think I see the smokestack.
Yeah, right in here. I'm right in here, right on the river. Anyway. So what you want to look at more. So we'll go even more.
Yeah, even more. Exactly.
Now you can see everything possibly you can connect here with Google. Okay? So mine, I got my web search, my toolbar, my mobile, YouTube. Should have my products. I think I have to click on it. There it is, product. There's books, news, Picasa, maps, panorama, Gmail, talk, groups, finance, alerts, trends, scholar, blog, or cut. I don't remember using blogger, translate, calendar, docs, home and office, Geo, Latitude, Earth, SketchUp. They're taking over the world. I mean, they got every app to cover the whole freaking world. That's what Google is doing.
And
you see that?
and what I like too is that they have projects that don't work out, that people just aren't embracing, even as cool as they might be, and they get rid of them. You know, Google Wave was something that I started using because I was going through something with my mother at the time, and Google Wave was a way for me and my family we're kind of spread out in the country, and we were able to kind of just post up there doctor reports and comments and voicemails, and it was just, you know, basically a whiteboard that you could throw everything on there. And it worked great. You know, we went through that time. It was done. They shut down the project, but they gave me notes, and they said, listen, you can go in there and you could capture all the information. We'll convert it into PDFs for you. We'll throw it up on the Google Drive if that's what you want. But anyway, so we had some members in the room asking if you could throw Google up on the screen since we were talking about it. And I don't know if you want
let's see if we can get it on.
to finish looking at Apple or what.
Double. Oh, I get this. Just a minute. That's USD. That needs to get back to $30, and then I'm happy. Got a way to go.
Yeah, my neighbor's the same way about steel. He's playing all those moves up and down, up and down.
Yeah, well, that's a long-term hold. I want to get in that sector. That's my play right there. So I should get a double screen on this. I get it set up right. Just a minute.
Maybe just change your
Pairs. There we go.
Oh, okay.
So what? Google? What's Google?
GOOG. GOOG. That's that's Gold Corp. Google is Golf, Oscar, Golf. 2 Oscars.
All right, let me get this. Ooh. And who are we putting up here?
Apple.
Apple? Church.
Do.
Yeah, just give me a second there.
Be better to do left side and right side, or?
Maybe.
Click on charts.
Yeah, but you gotta.
And then change your grid to 2 cells. You're on flexible grid. Go to the charts, which is to the left.
There we go.
Or that.
Got it. Yeah, that works too, right?
Maybe turn off the time and sales.
Yeah. The same settings. So we want to look at. You want to look at a weekly chart or what? Daily.
Members, what do you think? You got you're the ones asking the questions. We got some folks asking if we're going to get a bounce at 595. I'm assuming that's on Apple.
All right. I put it both on the hourly.
Okay. And maybe you got to lose the TTM squeeze on the right side just to match them up.
Where is that? There. Right. That looks ugly. Apple looks better than Google right now, but let's see.
Well, you know, the thing is, they both had outstanding runs. I tend to think that there's in the ownership of the stock almost a competition in getting those prices to where they were. But
that's
Apple's
pretty substantial sell-off, though, from what you would call a substantial run. That's more than profit taken there. That's reversal on Google.
Yeah.
This is a pretty steep sell-off on the anticipation. I'm assuming right up here to the i5 launch, and then the disappointing on it come out. And did we find a bottom on Apple, I guess is what the question is.
Yeah.
Really? Want to take a long minutes.
Well, I'm seeing we still have
Bring it up full screen and put it on a daily. That's what we have. Right.
yeah, we had
On a
somebody ask.
technical level on Apple right now, see where it is? It's right at my 120 moving average. See how it looks down and pull right back to close above it?
Uh-huh.
This is going to be key here for this thing to keep moving up. Now let me show you this. All right, from this level here. On a straight parallel, this thing could pull back down to 571 and stay in the channel it's in right now.
Right.
The key thing on this right now is to hold this 120 moving average right now. Essentially, you really don't like it because, you know what, this is coming up in higher sell volume coming right now at the low part of this here. I wouldn't be so concerned if this was higher here at this part here, but getting a little concerned with the higher sell volume now coming right down at this level here. So I would really be concerned with this coming back and coming down to a level now. Not so much on the parallel line. You could also stop at this level here. You know, it did stop here, it bounced off that level. So 575 area.
Yeah, it's still basically the same spot.
Snap on that point, doesn't it? So between those two lines right there, probably a 575 area, probably a good call on that one. Now, you look at this stochastic on a daily, it's getting to oversold, but, you know, it can hang down there for a long time, and it can hold there long enough to move that down to that point. So, yeah, it almost looks like when you look at these big stocks that pretty much the market's poised to possibly move down to pricing some lower earnings on companies this quarter. I don't know. It just seems to be kind of poised that way in my mind. But anyway, that to me isn't bullish at all. The stochastic's still going south here, and this huge wick down here. A lot of times the price will come back down and retest where it wicked, and that will set it to go. I think. I don't like that for long at all.
And then compare that with what we were looking at with Google.
All right, so I just snap that back. Google, I said it was ugly before I even brought it up, so let's bring it up and have a look. Let's put it out to a daily. Well, it's not so ugly, the fact that that candle stopped that 18 moving average. You know, Google has been a nice metaphorical ride. It's kind of surreal to think that when it moves this far, you don't get any kind of a pullback, right? So I think possibly what we're stepping into possibly when we see if this does break that 18 moving average on a daily, then, you know, you don't ever see that anywhere in this way going up. It all bounced off or didn't even touch that 9 moving average coming up here. Now you get your first serious test here between your 9 and your 18 moving average. It's kind of candle squeeze in between them there. And your stochastic has been pinned. And then it broke down. And look how fast the fast line got oversold here. This is what I would look at. This is two things we would look at here. Does it hold that 18? Or look at this fast line getting oversold quickly. Does it come around here and keep that 20 pushed over that 80 level? And keep this thing on an upward trend. So kind of on the fence right now, I would say on Google. I would say if we get an up market day, would be good for Google. Gets it off that line, it holds that trend without snapping any lines in on this. You can see it's been pretty clear and concise. It's been right on those 918 moving averages nicely. But any break of this, typically what these things do, same with the futures, is they break down to a 50 moving average or 120. So my 50 is at 690, 675, and 120 is at 375. If it does not hold that level right there. It's right out of test right now. And the stochastic could be bad, could be good. We go to a 60-minute on to get a snapshot closer than what we're looking at for maybe tomorrow. Still looks pretty bad really on a 60-minute on the candles. This is what I talked about earlier. I want to talk about. You see this candle come up here? See this candle here? Zoom right in this spot. see how this candle, it was coming down here. You thought it was going up. Right to the 50 moving average. Look at this reversal candle. This candle closed lower than this candle. You short it, and look what you get. And
Nice.
then you get one that comes up here and breaks. So you just grab that move from there to there. So you grab it from 761 to 744. That's all you get. But that's the move you want to wait for right there.
Yeah. And
That just following the premise of trading, looking at candles and just following your rule. And this one would give you reason to get out of it because, it comes back up and gap filled. But
very
if
nice.
you really had the kahunas to hold it because it never did go higher, then you can sell it a lot lower. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or buy it low. So that's what I was kind of alluding to with candles when you watch it. And not a 1 minute chart, a 5 minute chart. If you're going to trade the ES or anything else like that.
Good. It's getting late, and I don't want to kick you off. And we got about 4 or 5 more stocks to look at. You want to just run through them real quick?
I can do it real quick.
All right. How about Amazon, AMZN? That looks just like Google.
Got 2 volumes on it. Earnings, good. Oh, it's not good. But then we come up. Earnings play coming up. So this is daily on Amazon. 264.11. Come down. Lines cross. Come down. We didn't really test the 50. Come back up. We come back down now. Come close to the 50. And how come we're doing that? Well, it was down day. And we got earnings coming up. Stochastic's getting down here. This gets down there and crosses, and it starts going up before it hits that 50 moving average at 247. Should be onwards and upwards if you look at the overall trend on it. It should be onwards and upwards, depending on what these earnings are right here. Watch out very carefully. If I was trading this center down here, I'd have a stop probably under that 50 right there. If this thing broke down to that 50, I'm done. All right, next.
BIDU, BIDU. I believe they had a downgrade today.
Yeah, look at that. Boom. See that low 99.71? Revisit.
It's calling out to us.
That's it for Baidu. You get a downgrade. See that lower candle? I don't even have to go any further than this. I can just
Yeah,
look at this right here.
let it play out. No sense fighting the trend.
Yeah. It's probably going to hit that low because you come here and I didn't give it a fair shake because I thought it was lower. It looked like it was lower than that, but it's in there. Where it is right now, based on where that candle is and what that looks like, yeah, probably going down to
The next
that
level.
low right there, and nice double bottom bounce possibly off that.
Yeah.
Probably not even back up to here up the downgrade.
I mean, you do have that one candle after the 99.71, which looks like it's about 103, 102.
Just wanted to show you how these lines work. See this cross, 918 for a long? Look at that. Move up. And your signal to get out of that long was here. So yeah, you didn't get the optimum every time when you're entering an extra, but you did grab the most of it. See that? That's why these 9 and 18s work on anything, stocks, futures, or whatever. And there's a cross to the short, and it's still starting to stay short all the way down here.
And they're interesting intervals, you know.
Here,
They're
even
not.
here, this is interesting. Even here, when this comes back up here, it's telling you to stay short because you know what? Your 9 and 18 didn't cross. You're only when you're crossing. So look at this candle up and then reversal right back down.
Yeah.
There's a cross wall there. Right there. That's the first time it did. All right. So it looks like possibly with that downgrade, it killed whatever was momentum was here. It just nuked it. And look at the volume on that. Probably going to go back down after that downgrade to the lows, the 99.71. Breaks that 99.71. Look out, Irene. if it hits at 99.71, gets a nice double bottom bounce off that. With the downgrade, if they get a better quarter after that, possibly revisiting the high here at 133. Hitting the new highs at 154, not likely, unless they get 2 quarters good.
All right.
All right, next.
Give me 1 second, because it looks like we dropped off back in. I'm watching this show on another monitor here. Someone said the bottom just fell out of the show.
Fell out of the show.
Okay, I think the audio's back.
All right, let's get my legs for a second anyway.
No problem.
Stay nod. Easy weekend.
And we got video back. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know if we had a interval issue with the 2.5 hour mark, but a note for the future. So we're just wrapping it up here on BIDU, basically. I think you guys got the point on that one.
Yeah, that's my final summation on BIDU. No. Well, with the downgrade, I'm saying it's probably going to retouch that low. And you want to hope for a nice double bottom bounce off that. And if you don't get the double bottom bounce, it would be lookout Irene, because BIDU being what it is with the downgrade, probably not good. And it was trucking along pretty nicely there. And so if it comes back up, if it gets a double bottom bounce at that low.
Keep an eye on your microphone, Vester.
I don't even know if it's going to. Well, mine hasn't changed a bit. Mine hasn't changed a bit. Must have been your reconnection.
Oh, okay.
With that downgrade, it was trucking along nicely here and then just got slammed. Probably going to come back down and retest 99.71. I would watch for a double bottom bounce off that and then see if you can get a nice move off that. Just kind of weary with this pattern coming into this.
Man, I don't know why this is happening, but I'm losing the internet connection for some reason. I think the audio's back in. Testing 1, 2. Yeah, you're back on. Alright, you just keep talking and I'll figure it out on my end.
Alright, you do that. So anyway, I would not want to long this. Possibly 99.71, hoping for a double bottom bounce right now. It's in a downtrend. Can't deny it. Yeah. Get rid of stock, Briguy, or what?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's do Halliburton. HAAL.
Oh, looky how. You know what I like about Halliburton right now?
What do you like about Halliburton right now?
Getting. See this cross over here? Down to a nice pinch of the line, back up and down. Huh? I see a nice inverted head and shoulder pattern here, and I see the thing shooting higher. Look at where the stochastic are. Look at the volume starting to pick up here now. Halliburton's a buy. Buy.
Okay, I think that just got into the audio before it cut off. I'm going to shut down some of my applications I have in the background, and that should free up the system here. All right, how about IYT? I'm not sure what this one is. Indio.
Give me the numbers again.
It's Indio Yankee Tomahawk. Dow Jones Transport Fund.
Oh, transport. Oh. Who requested that one, I wonder? Somebody that knows something, don't they? Who requested the transport futures?
Well, I didn't write down who was saying it. That's not too many folks left in the room.
My focus would be, if we have any kind of a move out of the recession here, banks always lead first. So I would want to buy banks first. But guess where I want to go next after banks?
I'm going to say vehicles, transport.
Transport, exactly. So somebody's doing some research early on this. I like that.
That's your buddy Dapper Dan, it looks like.
That's cool.
So would you say, as far as, because there are different funds out there, is this a fair one to consider if you're going to get into transport?
If you want to grab the conglomerate group of transport, and I just want to put it in context here, where I say this is not the time to buy transport, but if the transports are low right now, this is the time to buy it. This is what we want to do. We want to buy low and sell high, right? If we know that in a typical rotation out of a recession is the banks and the financial lead first, what follows after that would be your transports. So if you can buy the transports out of flavor, possibly not right where it is right now. This is on a daily, so let's take a look at this. If you want to actually buy this, this may be a nice fear fund for the future. Probably a good play, a transport index fund, if we get that. So, like I said, I'm watching for banking to go first, and then transports to follow that. So when's the last time that we had a, well, here, what's this here? 2011 when it started that push up. All right, so that's kind of considerably later than bank. Excuse me. 2009 to 2010 is when the bank started some of their moves, like Citigroup, you know, that 10 for 1 and all that shit, and Bank of America. Anyway, and they started moving and started to push up a little bit. So that was earlier than, this is like October 11th of 2011, where it started this big move up here. So I would like to say that if everything works the way it should work, and banks rally first out of a recession, transports follow, this would probably be a good thing to buy and hold long.
Okay.
Don't know where your entry was. You look at this now. This is on a daily. You see, it seems to be gone about a bit of a downtrend now from the high, and that's just typical through the recession. If it bounces out, it should go higher, my guess. So if you want to do the play on the fundamentals, and you think we come out of the recession, and like I said, the banks first, then transports, this may be a good hold for long. Really not any reason for one to sell this if you got in somewhere in the lowest here. Anyway.
Okay. Let's look at Verizon, VZ, Victor Zebra.
That's sweet.
We got a 10-year high.
Well, with Verizon, if you're a stockholder, I'd be very conscious about their stock meetings and what are they doing to drive the future. You know, Verizon is kind of a competitor to Apple on a small scale as far as telephones, so you got to be very careful on this. But you look at it on the technical chart, you see this 48.77 high. It's higher than that previous high at 48.25. So if we zoom this back, what, 20 years, we've never been as high.
Yeah, that's, you had that 20-year chart up. Oh, you had the 10-year up. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, so you see we were at 69.50 back here in 99. Imagine that, eh? See that? 96 at 29.70. We are selling at 69.50. I would have been done with it then, but anyway. Yeah, so if you're long on this right now, you know what I see on my longest time frame I have, which is 20 or plus. Never really talked about this on the futures. I kind of alluded to my moving average lines before, but I'm going to talk about it right now. See how they don't mean absolute garbage in here. But when a chart pattern sets up like this, where I get my 9 and 18 moving average cross over my 1520 moving average here, and it moves, and it makes a higher high, keep going, baby. Sky's the limit. See the volume here? It was pretty good. Not really good. Well, it's pretty good, but see, there's some selling coming in here. You know, some pretty spikes here, but look at that. The price didn't move down. So you got a big spike selling here. You got profit taking coming along here. And less profit taking coming along here. And it's all buying here now. So I'll buy in here, baby, and I think maybe this thing is going to be poised to come back to the highs at 69.50. I don't know what the fundamentals, I don't know what the earnings are or anything else like that, but just looking at the chart tells me that that's probably where it's going.
And of course, Verizon has, I believe, some dividends they give back on shareholders. So their earnings are on the 18th next week.
I'll be interested.
All right, the last one I saw in the room, and you guys, if you have any others that I missed, let me know. But it looked like somebody put Wave in the room. I think that's a wireless company. WAVE. Unless they were just saying Wave. Actually, now I see that's a pink slip. So maybe they were just saying hi.
Yeah, what can I say on that one?
That's all right. Don't even waste a breath.
Thanks for coming out.
See you next time. You know what? Actually, Dark24 is making a point about rental car companies. I don't know if you know. Hertz.
How does that play fundamentally? Tell me, guys.
You got HTZ.
Tell me what you're in.
HTZ.
How are they going to pick up in volume? HTZ.
The comment. Do you see the comment that was made in the room? Only stocks I found to go up in a large downturn are rental cars.
All right, the last post. I see that. That's interesting.
And Hertz, I believe, is a company that not only do they rent vehicles, but they are pretty good about selling off their older fleets and making money on the back end too.
Sell their fleets off; they're only a couple years old, right?
Right.
Probably make better money on the sales now than they did in 2008.
Yeah.
You know. So, like for most companies, it's probably better now to do business like that. For me, I guarantee you. When I go down to Florida, I'm renting from one of those companies, and Hertz is in there. At Tampa Airport, there's like 5 of them there, and I'll pick the one that has the best deal. Benefits of trading one type of trading vehicle like the US or easier. Well, Dapper Dan, how advanced are you in trading? That's kind of the question, because if you're not trading anything, that's another thought. And if you are, like for me, I hold it's like a 401k that the Americans have. So I'm just going to talk like a 401k. And it's a self-registered one, and I can buy and sell. I can day trade stocks along with Johnny with 25. Doesn't matter. I don't even need the minimum in it. I just need enough to buy the stock. Have holdings. I'm kind of like a Berkshire holder or whatever, and I've got long-term holdings, AGNC, Bank of America, Suncor, a bunch of stuff like that. The question is, for me, is if you're trading inside or out of, like a 401k, and if you're trying to make money, capital, that's what I am, a capitalist. You want to make money, it's not on an ETF. I'm not going to say the best thing is the ES either if you're not used to it. You can follow Johnny and you can day trade stocks and probably make more money quickly if you're a capitalist like me and you want to make money today. That's the way it goes.
Mm-hmm. How do your taxes in Canada compare with the arrangements in the U.S. where you can trade as a business versus being an individual investor?
Well, anything inside my registered retirement plan, like your 401k, I can day trade in that. That's all tax-free because it's a registered protected account. Outside of that, any of my futures trades, I pay capital gains 50%. I pay 50%. I pay on 50%. So if I make $100,000 a year in futures trading, I pay on $50,000 on my typical tax rate, which is close to 30%.
Okay. Are you offsetting those gains with any business expenses? For example, you know, like your data feeds and
you know, 100%.
Percentage of your home.
I got the percentage of my office space here. I got the percentage of I can write off my software over, I think, 6 years. Actually, I'm going to reduce that. And then my, well, it's just like anything else. I mean, my losses, my gains. I mean, I can't take and write a loss off next year on, if I have a loss next year on my gains from this year. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
But it's based it on it. You take my yearly loss and my gains, and it's just that much, and then
Right.
it works out to be, and that's fine. As long as I'm making it, I don't give a shit. I can pay them.
Yep.
If they'll make a little bit, then I have to pay them. That pisses me off. But anyway.
And as Dark24 is pointing out, futures don't have the day trading restrictions that you get on.
Exactly. If you want to day trade stocks, I think there was just a fellow on the other day on Johnny's site and said that, yeah, that's fine. As long as you have 25,000, you can day trade. But
Right.
exactly right, Dart24. You don't need 25,000 to day trade. You can day trade that. There are no restrictions.
And of course, another option is.
Can't say there's no restrictions. You got margin restrictions. You got to meet the margin, the initial margin, maintenance margin, and then you're good.
Right.
Deal.
And we're not even talking about being considered a day trader for tax purposes. That's a whole nother aspect. You know, being subject to the pattern day trader rule is one thing. Being considered a day trader for tax purposes is a separate thing. I think some people mix those two things up. We've got a question about, do you put stops on any of the stocks you have in your 401k account?
Nah, negative.
So those are just kind of a different arrangement you have with those stocks there, and more of a longer term expectations.
What I like to look at is like value plays, essentially, when I put holdings in that. I just let them ride, Dapper Dan. I just let them go. I'm like a Buffett investor. I make a good choice. It wasn't just a flip of a coin. I made a choice on what I wanted and what I got, and saw what I think was the upside potential on it, and just let it go. X went against me essentially right after I bought it. Just told me I bought it at the wrong time. But I'm going to hold it long term. X will come back. It's going to be good. I just wanted a steal play. So it's being kind of a patient investor in that regard. It's just kind of want to make sure I diversify myself, make sure I'm, invested in all the different fields of it. It really should be important in the future.
As part of your homework, do you find that you check out each of your accounts every morning, or is that a weekly exercise?
I check it every day.
Okay.
I check it every day. Yeah.
So you can have yourself as many accounts as you want. I've seen other traders, they divide their accounts maybe according to the types of stocks you're buying. But whatever it is, you got to know what you have. You got to know what you own, know what those levels are, know where it's going, and manage your money.
Yeah, for me, I want to right now keep track of my account activity. I want to find out the day I get paid my dividend from AGNC, I may dump 500 shares.
Right.
I want to try to reduce some of my holdings on it based on what I've been getting on research.
Okay. And as far as your morning routine, let's say, you mentioned about doing your homework in the morning, is there a particular newsletter or website that you tend to read, or are you just looking strictly at the charts? What would you say your routine is in the morning?
Well, routine for me would be first, before even reading emails, is I just take a look at the overnight charts, take a look at the overnight markets, see how they performed. I'll go back to yesterday's close, and I start drawing lines and snapping them in. I go from a daily right down to like a 4-hour and a 60 and a 30. And I get right down to the small trading one that we're at right now and really discount it prior to the open. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just, if it was up 3 points, like it was this morning, I watched it this morning. I wasn't at my home. I wasn't at home. I was at the girlfriend's house, so I just had CNN or CNBC on, and I could see the ES was up 3.5 points, and by the open it was pretty much flat. So everybody sold them, took a prop. I knew what was going on, so I had to explain it to her. See that? That's what happened. Anyway.
Right.
So I knew that essentially coming into it, it wasn't going to be good, and then I was driving at 10, didn't get back into the office here to fire the computers up till around 10:30, and then I had to do some basically homework at that point before I could enter a trade. I had to fire up 3 PCs, and I had to put one on a 60-minute, one on a 30-minute to start with, just to get a snapshot, and I had to move the one out to a weekly down to a daily, and start seeing if the lines all agree. So yeah, there's definitely some homework that you should do. I'm not saying watching CNBC at 7 a.m. is the way to do it, but you need to take the time and look at your charts before you get into, entering a trade. How can you possibly enter a trade when you have absolutely no idea where you are? That's basically what I'm saying.
Right. So that you can make an educated estimate as to where you're going.
Bingo. I mean, it's slightly different than, what some of the other guys that come in here in the room and talk about. I'm kind of keep it simple, stupid trader, and look at gap fills and use the moving averages, and I use the stochastics for an indication. But the biggest thing is I really look at where was the market been before.
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting thing that you're pointing out, because you've been sharing your charts with us that you're using for analysis, even though you're trading with the other platform, the NinjaTrader Pro. And what I noticed is that you have the basic studies that are on most charts that we talk about, that even we see in the news or we see people tweeting about or whatever. It's the moving averages, the stochastics, the volume, and understanding the chart patterns when it comes to the candles. So, boys and girls out there, if you're new to trading, or you've been trading for a few months and you're finding all these different advertisements out there, this guy's got an indicator, that guy's got the 5-minute reversal, this one's got the 12 candle over the top, whatever it is. I mean, I'm not saying they don't work, but what I am saying is you can become a master at the basics and be just as successful. There's really no shortcuts in trading, right?
Exactly.
So if you guys got any other questions for Vester here at daytradingradio.com, we appreciate you guys sticking with us. We've had folks coming in and out of the room here. And if anybody's got any final questions for Vester, otherwise I'm going to thank him for coming on the show. You've been a great guest. And if it's all right, I'll see whatever file got saved, if it's not corrupted, and I'll throw it in the member forum if anybody else wants to review it in the upcoming days.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything of value there. Don't bother saving it. We're looking at stocks today. It's not going to apply to look at a week from now. So.
All right.
Not really. Don't worry about it, buddy.
Okay. Well, no sweat.
Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and you all have a great night. Thanks, Brad.
All right. You're welcome. So let me shut down the team viewer. Some are on here. Okay. So guys, I appreciate you tuning in here at Day Trading Radio. As it turns out, we ended up having a little bit of change in our show format because we had Vester call in, a very experienced trader with our futures room member forum. And I know I don't know how many people are left in the room that were interested in the initial topic on the show, solo monitor trading. And don't see anybody really jumping up and down in the room asking about that topic. So I did see there was a good number of folks early on that were tuning in for that topic. And so what I'm going to do is we'll see if we can get to do that on another one of the days here. I don't know if we have anything scheduled for Thursday. If not, then I was actually talking about doing a show on Sunday evening when the market opens, and maybe that'll be a time that we can look to do it, but we'll get it rescheduled. And I say that because I'm already getting somebody lined up in the next couple of weeks on Tuesday for some other topics, and I know there's some interest in this one topic here. I'm being told the sound just cut out, so I don't know if I killed my microphone or not. Schmidt, I'm not hearing it cut out, so not sure what that is. Ramble. So, a couple of things I will tell you guys if you happen to be peeking your head in about the solo monitor trading, and that is understanding how to move your windows around. in your platform. That's kind of what we're going to talk about. Some other tricks I'm going to show you guys. I don't want to give too much away. We'll get you to come back another time. All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. What I'm going to do now is going to have to reload my platform, and we'll see if we can get Johnny's charts back up here and let it go at that, all right? But thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate it. See you next time.